Crime is a public health issue, and prisons create crime. Something we don't typically think about is how prison, the solution we have made to punish and prevent crime, is actually creating its unbreakable cycle. Truly, prisons create crime. A little bit of history that you should know about incarceration in the United States starts with the War on Drugs, declared during the Nixon presidency in 1971. This policy had some major consequences, including a skyrocketing amount of incarcerations, disproportionately African American, along with a skyrocketing bill. In 2011, the Global Commission on Drug Control Policy stated, "The global war on drugs has failed, with devastating consequences for individuals and societies around the world." In order to understand the irony of the prison system, I'd like to show you several examples of ways in which prison amplifies the situation that causes people to commit crimes in the first place. During incarceration. The breaking of family ties is a major consequence of incarceration. It is proven to cause poor school performance, decreased contact with adults, and suppressed anger in children, which have all been found to be indications of delinquency. Families broken by incarceration are most typically fatherless families. Another way in which prisons create crime is through violence in prisons. Whether between inmates or between guards and inmates, violence in prison is crime itself. Further, this terror in prison can go a long way to damage one's sense of personhood, make them resent the state's system of authority, and make inmates more socially maladjusted when they are finally released, increasing their chances of recidivation, or returning to prison. For inmates who are put under solitary confinement, extreme isolation could exacerbate the psychological condition that caused the prisoner to commit his crimes in the first place. Post-incarceration. Punishment continues even after prisoners are released. Referred to as collateral consequences, ex-convicts experience a huge amount of penalties and disadvantages long after leaving prison. The largest factor for inmate recidivism is a lack of steady employment. According to a study by the Urban Institute, employers are most unlikely to hire felons compared to any other stigmatized group. Also, since jail time has probably set them back as the economy moves toward high technology, criminals will most likely only find low-skill work that will keep them living below poverty. Like many public health issues, incarceration has many disparities. This graphic touches on the topic of race in the prison system, which could have an entire talk of its own. This disproportionate rate of imprisonment worsens the cycle of minority discrimination and criminalization. Solutions. A major part of the solution is being informed on the controversial topic of prisons and how they can backfire in their very goal of crime prevention, because, of course, nobody wants to be seen as soft on crime. A major part of the solution is through a focus on rehabilitation. This might sound crazy at first, but what if we use the correctional setting of prison as a way to target the population that is underserved? Since so many prisoners suffer from mental health issues or have found themselves in extremely desperate life circumstances, maybe there's a way to break apart this cycle of crime by using prison as a way to get people back on their feet or through rehab and integrated back into society. Fixing socioeconomic disparity in the United States is another major way to be proactive against crime. Changing the very living situations that cause people to commit crime will be imperative to decreasing crime. This may be done through policy that aims to decrease the wealth gap and create more of a safety net for struggling Americans. Last but not least is education. We need to fix bad schools that are typically found in inner city neighborhoods. Good schools give good educations and are the best way to gain jobs and stability. People who live more stable lives are much less likely to commit crimes, which makes sense because anytime someone has something to lose, they are much less likely to commit crimes. Many people will think that it is ridiculous to try and help those who have been incarcerated when there are so many people that need help that haven't committed crimes. But I believe that if we can fix some of the disparities in income, opportunity, and education that stem from incarceration, we can greatly reduce the number of crimes committed each year. And this also means reducing the number of victims and side effects of crime. This will, in turn, save the government millions of dollars that they spend reacting to the problem instead of being proactive about crime and the poor living situations or mental health issues that are often the cause of crime. So maybe we should reconsider how the very institution we have created to prevent crime actually intensifies crime and its consequences.